Hey, what's up guys? So in my last video you saw that we got the Z started, which is freaking awesome. First try, no mess, no coolant spills, nothing. But there was two codes that popped up. One was the camshaft position sensor and the crankshaft position sensor. So we're gonna dive a little bit more into that. So let's get to it. So we're going to dive a little bit more into those codes that we found. One was for the crankshaft position sensor and one was for the camshaft position sensor. There's actually three different sensors on this car. One on the passenger side, one on the driver's side, and then one underneath in between the transmission and the engine on the driver's side. So we need to replace that one underneath the car and then the one on the driver's side. I'll show you on this other engine where they are. It's going to be hard to show you on the actual engine since it's under the intake, but I could show you on this other engine and then we'll get to it. If you take a look here, you'll see this sensor here right underneath the throttle body on the engine. It's held in by a 10mm bolt. This is the camshaft position sensor, bank 2. Over here you'll see the other one right here. That's bank 1. Underneath you'll see a little slot right here on the driver's side. That's where the crankshaft position sensor goes. The bolt hole for it is actually on the engine side. So we're going to be changing this bank 2 and then the bottom crankshaft position sensor because those are the two codes. I do have some spare ones of these, so if that ends up happening to go at one point, I got a spare for it, but hopefully that's not the case. So let's get to changing those and we'll see if the code's clear. So since it's going to be hard to show you what it looks like, I'm going to show you on this old harness. This is what the connector looks like. Sensor will be in the engine. So instead of a normal type clip, what you have to do is you have to push this clip in until you hear it pop, and then you got to wiggle it out. So on this one you push these clips in. This is for bank 1 and bank 2. They both have clips like this where you have to push it in order to get it to pop out. And then the crankshaft position sensor has a regular sensor. So let's get to changing this and we'll clear the codes. So the first thing you gotta do is take off this air intake tube. It's just a Phillips head and a flat head, and once you get those, oh yeah, and mine was held on by a bolt here. So once you get those out, you should be able to slip this off without taking off the air box. The last thing is there's this little breather hose here. I'm gonna probably just leave mine attached because I think I could reach into there without removing it all the way. You might have to take off this line, but I'm gonna try to just get past it. Like I said, so the plug is right underneath the throttle body right there. You're gonna clamp it, pull, and then get the 10mm bolt out, and you should be able to pull the sensor right out. Once again, it's just this setup right here. So once you get it out, it just pulls out, and then we could put the new one in. Alright, so now that I got the old one out, here's the new one. We're just going to pop it back in and put the plug in, and then we're good to go for this one. Alright, so that's it for the cam position sensor. Super easy. Kinda just have to use your automotive sixth sense for that. You kinda just have to use your automotive sixth sense for that one, since you can't really see very much. Just gotta rely totally on touch pretty much, but it's really not too bad. The clip's a little bit hard to pinch, but if you work with it for a minute, it'll pop right off and then you're good to go. It's also a little bit hard to push back in because of the little rubber O-ring. So all you have to do is just keep wiggling it around and pushing it in until you feel it seat totally against the block, and then you can bolt it back in and you're good to go. So let's get to the crankshaft position sensor and then we'll see if all the codes are gone. Alright, it's a little dark under here, but this is the crankshaft position sensor where it's connected to the transmission. It's right next to this cross member. So we're gonna take off this 10mm bolt and pull it out, and it's just got a regular clip. Once we take that out, we'll be good to go. Alright, so that's how you change both those sensors. So now we're gonna go inside the car and reset all the codes, and then we should be good to go. So now that we got the sensors changed, we're gonna put the car in the on position, and then I'm gonna read the codes with my code reader. And we got the crankshaft position sensor and the camshaft position sensor banked too. So we're gonna go ahead and clear those now that we replaced both of them. So everything's been cleared now. So we're gonna turn the car off. And then we're gonna turn it on. Alright guys, it's a couple days later, but as you could see from the last clip, the car did not start after replacing that sensor. So that's just a testament to not buy AutoZone sensors. They usually don't work out that well. Sometimes you get lucky and they do, but that sensor didn't start the car, so I went back, got a replacement, and the car started then, but it would stall out on me, left me stranded down the street, and took probably like 5-10 minutes to get restarted again. So I just went ahead, took those sensors back, ordered an OEM one. So we're gonna put that on the car, and hopefully that fixes the problem. If not, we might have a problem with either the wires or the flywheel. So cross our fingers that it's just the crank sensor and that the OEM one does the trick. So let's get that on, we'll clear the codes, and then we'll try starting it again. Alright, so now we're back in the car. We're gonna go ahead and put the keys in ignition and try to clear the codes from the sensor. Probably can't read this screen because it's so bright. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and read the codes. It's the crankshaft position sensor code. So we're gonna go back, erase the codes. Now hit the read codes again. No codes. So now let's go ahead and see if the car starts. So I don't know if you could see it too well, but I found the problem. Obviously the car didn't start again with the brand new sensor, so it wasn't the AutoZone sensors. I'm sure they weren't that great anyways, so I'm glad I got an OEM one. But as you can see, I tried to use the OEM flywheel instead of buying a new one, which was not a good choice because apparently this flywheel got damaged while I was doing stuff. It got a little dented. I'm not too sure how that happened. I think this is the flywheel that when I pulled it off it fell. So I should have been more adamant about checking it for damages, because now, at least if I throw the old sensor in, it runs and drives so I can move it around, but I have to order a new flywheel now and then take out the transmission and replace that, take off the clutch again. So just a note, I would probably always buy a new flywheel if you can, or be really careful with your old one, or else you'll end up with a problem like me. Throws up the P0335 code, which is the crank sensor code, and no matter what sensor's in it, it will not work. So I started rotating this, and here's what I found. Alright guys, so there you have it. We found the problem. Unfortunately, it was not the problem that I wanted. We have to replace the flywheel because I tried to reuse the OEM one and apparently ended up getting damaged somewhere along the way of taking it off the other engine and putting it on this one. So now I'm gonna have to order a flywheel and replace it. Luckily we have a lot more stuff to work on in the meantime, and I got something really big coming for the car. So the next few videos are going to be probably working on some body stuff and just doing some random things, getting it ready, and I'll have that flywheel getting shipped here. So that really just goes to show you sometimes things just really don't go as planned when doing a car build. I should have been a little bit more adamant about checking, but I was just stoked to get it put back together. But sometimes that happens. Can't get too mad about it. It's gonna suck having to pull the transmission again after just putting the engine in, but at least we know the engine runs fine and it's really not that big a deal. Just gonna cost a little bit of money. So if you guys like the video, like and subscribe. We're gonna be doing some more stuff to get this car ready. Got some big things coming, and we'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.